Hello everyone and welcome, Spence here, and today we're going to talk about EDH decks. No surprise there. EDH decks in general, as in like how many decks is too many, how to manage them, to deal with them, where to upgrade, what not to upgrade, things like that. So, as you can see, I've got 10 decks. First off, how did I get these? How did I get to 10 decks? I don't think 10 decks is a lot, but I don't want to go any higher. I actually want to reduce this down. I can only actually fit 6 in my bag that I take to my LGS. So every week I have to actually take 4 of these out, and go, right, I'm only taking these 6. I want to play these, potentially play these 6 styles tonight. And there is obviously a set amount of favouritism into which decks get played and which decks don't. And it's not that I don't like those decks anymore, it's just I prefer the playstyles of other because that's the type of mood I'm in, and then maybe in 3 months my mood will be different. So, I had a bit of a philosophy when I building decks. I wasn't going to build the same colourway more than once. So I've got Mardu, I've got Esper, I've got Ban, I've got Naya, I've got, that's Jeskai, we've got Grixis, I've got Mono Blue, I've got Simic, I've got Izzet, and then, yes, that is another Jeskai one, but this has been de-sleeved as the sleeves are being used in this one. So this, because I've got 2 decks of the same colourway, I am essentially in the process of using this deck as food for the rest of it. So the Soul Rings come out of here, the Arcane Signets come out of here, any talismans that were in here that were relevant for other decks that didn't have them have now been put in those decks. So it's become almost like a food deck and not like a food chain deck, just a food deck. There's no green. And so yeah, that was kind of like my mantra of like, I want all my decks to do different things, and I also want them to be different colourways. Like, I didn't want to be having 3 different graveyard decks or whatever, and they've just been a graveyard deck but in 3 different colourways. Like, to me that doesn't seem no point, just to have a good graveyard deck. You know, I don't want to pull out my decks at Command and Line and be like, well, I can play Graveyard Shenanigans in Grixis, or Graveyard Shenanigans in Golgari, or Graveyard Shenanigans in Sultai. Like, this doesn't compute for me. It does for some people, not for me. So, as I'm in this process of putting the 11th Doctor together and using the Diner here to feed into my other decks, I've also started noticing some overlap in other areas. So, obviously the 11th Doctor cares about casting a lot of spells, like potentially hitting for damage, triggering his ability, putting a spell into suspend, and then aiming upon hitting and taking those counters off of it to then cast it for free. Veyron casts a lot of spells. It's spell slinging. You know, it's trying to copy spells, cast as many spells as you can in a turn to for your prowess, for your magecraft, to then swing in to do damage, you know. And so there's probably quite a few spells in here that could benefit into here, and there's definitely quite a few beautiful spells in here that would actually help my Gadwick deck. So I'm now in this situation of Veyron 9 times out of 10 gets left on the shelf when I go out. Do I just take that and them 2 become food decks to then populate these 8 decks? But also, the way I want to build the 11th Doctor, and there's some cards in Tuvasa that I'm potentially going to rebuy to make the 11th Doctor. So then I'm like, do I just take the cards out of Tuvasa to put into the 11th Doctor? But then I'll lose a deck, and then that feels bad. And so it's this little conundrum of moving the cards around and piling them up, because we play a singleton format, so we don't have to buy 4 copies of each card, yet we buy 10 copies of each card. We have command towers, we have Soul Rings, we have all the talismans, we have all the signets, you know, we have the pathway lands, we have the scry lands, we have the shock lands, we have, you know, everything else, the bounce lands, the, you know, the fetch lands. You probably have multiple fetch lands if you're playing on that type of power level. Like, we do buy multiples of those cards, and it made me rethink, do I need to rethink my proxying? Like, I don't have any proxies in these decks, just for clarity, but I am not against proxying. Like, if I was to now go and proxy a load of stuff, like, or if I could just sell a bunch of stuff, I'd be tempted to sell all the staple basics sell my arcane signets, sell all my soul rings, sell all the talismans, the signets, get rid of all that stuff. Yeah, it's like 50p, £1 a card, but times that by 10, you know, and I do that for all of them. Say they're all worth £1 and there's like one of each in each of these decks that I get rid of. I can generate 50 quid. That's a dark side for a deck. You know, that's a big haymaker of a card. I want to get a Torment of Hellfire for Davros. Like, just proxying all the little bits would pay for that. But then buying all those little bits would increase the power level and consistency of all these decks without having that big showy off bomb card. So there's another conundrum in that in itself. And yeah, and then this overlapping playstyles, like I spoke about, it's just, oh, it's just too much. It's too much. So yes. So I think I've come down to the fact of I'm not having two colours or two decks of the same colours. So Dinah here has got to go in favour of the 11th Doctor, you know, and then I don't want to have the same playstyle of ability. Like Gadwick casts lots of spells, Veyron casts lots of spells, 11th Doctor could potentially be casting a lot of spells, you know, like these are all very similar. So Veyron gets left on the shelf, so Veyron's going to have to go. And I'm going down to 8 decks, and I still, like, even if I take these out of the equation, keeping 8 decks up to date every month is hard work. Like, and I just don't do it. Like, every set that comes out, there's a load of enchantments. Like, Tuvasa doesn't have all the latest and greatest enchantments, and it's like, I know that's not a bad thing, and it's not about keeping up with the Joneses, and so to speak. That's a turn of phrase I'm saying. But it's, yeah, it's just, it feels tough to stay on top of it. And I don't know if it is just this bombardment of product from WotC, of the things always coming out and, oh, here's the new set for this, here's the new set for that, here's the new cards, we've got previews, got previews, got previews. Like, we're having previews for cards that are not even coming out until next year. Like, we're in October. Like, calm down, guys, calm down. Like, it's, is it Kenobi that always says it's the perpetual hype train? Like, it is, and it's just like, I just find myself wanting to disconnect, I guess, from it sometimes. Just get off. Like, I love this game, you know. As you can see, I'm invested, but like, it's just, it seems like a lot. And so, yeah, for me, I'm feeling 10 decks is just too many, too many. So 2 are going, and but the idea of staying on top of 8 is hard. And I know it swings and roundabouts of when decks come into flavour and out of flavour, like Merfolk and Dinosaurs. They're very much in flavour at the minute, and so, like, I'll be wanting to put the new cards in and play with those, but then, so will everybody else, so we'll see a lot of them, so then that'll disincentivise me to play with those decks, because I don't want to play the same deck as everybody else. So it's like, well, they're very much the flavour at the minute, I will probably put them on the shelf, and then wait 6 months and see if the card prices come down, you know? And then buy the cards while they're cheap. Great the fact that Gishatha's had a reprint. I believe Gishatha's reprinted in Ixalan. If not, why not? So yeah. Yeah, and it's just managing all of this, you know? And then obviously within managing all of this, there is a cost to all that. Like without proxy, and like there is lands that are repeated in this white and blue with this white and blue, and then I've got white and blue over here. So like, these are all going to have similar types of lands, you know? Okay. Do I proxy all those lands? Do I buy 3 copies of each land? Like, it's, oh, obviously I'm buying them, but it's just, it's a lot, and it's, yeah, it's just, it's where do you put those resources at what time, you know? Like I was just saying, like, these 2 are going to be popular at the minute, so do I get those while the cards are hot, you know, and get the decks done while there's lot in circulation and people are trading, or do I wait 6 months and just try and buy them when they're cheap, which is probably what I will do, but then it means like sitting these on the shelf when the hype around them is that you want to be playing them, you know? And so it swings and roundabouts. Like, if I was being smart, I guess I would be like, how much do I actually play my dinosaurs? Like, everybody's going to be loving dinosaurs over the next few months, so maybe I should just sell those cards while they're hot. Same with the Merfolk. But I love the synergy of Merfolk. Like, I love the fact that you play one Merfolk, you play another Merfolk, and they interact with each other. every merfolk gives you another merfolk +1/+1 and island walk, you know. Tap 3 merfolk, draw a card, you know. It's like, that's those little, like, almost like white weenie deck, like, it's those little synergies between merfolk that I really like, that's gets your board state working to each other. It's not just like 15 things on your board that are all doing individual things that make you strong. It's them working together. You know, I like the fact that dinosaurs, I can just hit with Gishath, someone with Gishath, and trigger his ability, and then just blop, you know, dinosaurs on the battlefield overrunning like a stampede. You know, I love the fact that my Gadwick deck does absolutely nothing until it wins the game. Like, it's just cast a spell, look at the top 2, draw, scry, draw, scry, draw, scry. Oh, there's Icecon Scepter. Bang, win the game, infinite mana. You know, and wins through Brainstorm, by the way, if you didn't already know. And then obviously we've got Sir Gwyn, which is just equipment, like turn 1, play equipment, turn 2, play equipment, turn 3, play equipment, blah, 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 turn 6, play Sir Gwyn, equip everything for free with haste, smash face. Try and hit commander damage on turn 7. You know, like, it's like, I really like that type of play style sometimes, but then in long grindy out games that sucks. And then, like, the most consistent deck I have is Tuvasa, and I've recently depowered this by trying to make it more on theme by making every card an enchantment. So I play 1 Enchantress, and then every card I play is an enchantment. I'm drawing. I am replenishing my hand at every turn, which feels great. You know, it's just Enchantress doing Enchantress things. And then obviously I've got my Tivit deck, which is just my CDH deck, which is beautiful, but only played within the right pods. So I guess you could take that one out of the equation, and essentially I've got, what, 7 left? So I don't know, it's like, how do you guys manage it? Like, let's put the question out there, like, how do you manage all your decks and staying on top of them? Like, do you just proxy the big expensive cards that you want to slide in? Do you proxy all the cheap stuff so you can then buy the nice things? Because you don't have to buy 10 copies of Sol Ring, so you spend those $10 on a decent card. You know, do you just not buy into the precons? Like, these are the first 2 precons I've bought since first starting out in Commander. And as much as I love buying into the Doctor Who stuff, because I'm a big Doctor Who fan, like, there is part of me that slightly regrets it, because it's like, I've changed out so many cards now in the Davros deck that I'm just like, I should have just bought Davros and the cards, you know, like, I don't even want to work out the price of the deck that I've got that are now the original TARDIS cards, with the TARDIS stamp on from the original deck, because obviously the precon is like 40, and then it's just like, if I'd have just bought Davros plus those 15-20 of the cards that are left in the deck, would it have been 40 quid? I don't know. Probably not, and I don't want to work that out because it'll make me sad. So yeah, but I've invested in a game, and the way I see that is I've invested in the game, and I've given Wizards of the Coast money for a product that I believe in. I have gone, yeah, I approve of this product, you can have my money and make more of stuff like this. You know, I don't buy into like a lot of the secret layers and stuff. I don't have any secret layers, all that type of stuff. I'm like, I don't want to give Wizards my money for those, because I don't want them to think that I think that is an okay product to sell and go into. So these decks, I've gone, yeah, you can make more stuff like this, you can have my money on these pawns. But for the rest part, I buy singles. But yeah, so, multiple decks. How do you manage it? You just don't. There's the honest answer. Not unless you want to spend a lot of time every month with every set that comes out, looking at each card. There's a whole bunch of equipment that I believe has come out with the Ixalan previews. Then obviously there'll be a bunch of enchantments that will come out that might fit into here. There might be a few like shenanigans that all fit into my Davros deck. Like, there's definitely going to be Merfolk, there's definitely going to be Gishath stuff, dinosaurs. You know, there might be the odd few instant and sorcery spells that will actually fit well in Gadwick because they're mono blue. Like, it's hard to stay on top of it every month, looking at everything and going, okay, I need that, I need that, I need that, I need that, and I can slot those in, and then what do I take out? So I'm just trying to, I guess, simplify my approach. And so yeah, so we have 2 decks that essentially are going to feed into the other decks to make those stronger. And we're just gonna work from there. But I'm trying to reduce. If I can get down to 6, and I can just take 6 good decks with me every night, say every night, whenever I play once a week, then that would be better. But it's also having 6 good decks at different power levels. So Gwyn is quite simple. Like, yes, you can get a lot of protection and stuff on her through her equipment. She doesn't have any swords, by the way, none of the crazy swords. And dinosaurs can get very big and scary and overrun and stomp, but essentially destroy those two commanders every time they come out, those decks are shut down. You know, so I play those guys against newbies, and if they get a removal spell and they're like, what do I remove? I'm like, one of these is a good target. You know, because otherwise it's just going to keep smashing your face and you're going to die. You know, with the other ones it's a bit more nuanced. You know, it's good to get rid of Tavassa, but it's also good to get rid of the card draw engines that are built into that deck. You know, it's good to get rid of Davros because he triggers the villainous choice, but then it's also depends what else I've got out on the battlefield. Same with Commander, like Commander's so cheap I can just recast them pretty easily. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. Like, I think having too many decks can slow down your development of decks. Like Tavassa, I've actually, this is something that I do. I don't know if you guys do anything like this. So this is my box for Tuvasa and for Tivit. So Tavassa, I want Land Tack, Song of the Dryads, Enlightened Tutor, Holy Mantle, Berkshire Pathway and Branch Pathway. Those are all the cards that I am looking for currently for this deck. Yeah? In my Tivit deck, I'm looking for Silence, Swan Song and Savine's Savine's Reclamation. In fact, I think I have a Savine's Reclamation in here, so that can go into my Tivit deck. You know, I have post-its in front of my deck, so when I'm at the game store, I'm like, oh, this is what I'm after if anybody has. You know? And so that's how I guess I stay on top of it a little bit, is by doing bits like that. But yeah, it just feels like a lot and too much to do. So I'm taking things apart, I'm breaking things down, and yeah, I think I guess I just wanted to make a video just voicing my opinions to make it a reality for myself, that that's an okay thing to do, to accept that sometimes too many decks is just too much. And it's okay to take decks apart to use those cards into other decks, even though maybe, say, like, Tavassa is my first ever Commander deck, and, you know, there's a lot of cards I want to put into there, but then I feel like if I'm repeating the playstyle and repeating the cards, then I don't want to buy two versions of the cards, and I don't want to repeat the playstyle, so therefore I should do something different. So, but there's no should, woulda, coulda, it's just whatever you want, and I guess that's just what I want to say with this, is just, yes, it can be hard work having a lot of decks, and it can be hard to manage, but just keep it at a level where you can manage it. Like, I have my pet Tivit deck, where that's where my money goes. That's where all my nice cards are, that's where all the good stuff is. That's the CEDH deck. And then after that, everything else is just different levels of fun. So that's what I'm going to just try and remind myself of, and I hope you guys remind yourself of that too, is that CDH is also CEDH, casual Elder Dragon Highlander. It's casual fun. It can be competitive, but it can also be very casual. So let's keep it that way. Let's keep it casual. Let's keep it fun, and let's not beat ourselves up when we have to take decks apart to feed other decks, because, you know, it's expensive. I don't want to buy any more sleeves. I don't want to buy any more Pathway lands. I'm done. So, but yeah. That's where I'm at with my decks at the minute. I'm sorry there's not been my usual flow of content over the last few weeks. I've been a bit run down, you could probably still hear it in my voice. So, yes, take a steady out there, people, stay safe, and I will see you all around, and I will have an update coming on Davros and the finishing state of it. I don't know, you can see a few tweaks that I've done to it already, with cards that are maybe in there that you've not seen on the other video. So yeah, update to Davros is coming soon. Then I'll have a completed version of the 11th Doctor, which will be coming out, and then I've got some tweaks to Sergerin and Tuvasa and a few other bits that I'm working on. This is what I mean, it's a lot, it's a lot. So yes, anyway, I'm cutting this off, I'm rambling. Goodbye. Thank you very much for watching, people, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now.